Okay, here we are. All right, hello, hello, hello. Kind of fell asleep at the wheel there for a second, but I'm back. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Wednesday afternoon portrait class. We always get together Wednesday afternoons, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and try and get through a portrait together as I show you step by step the process that I take in order to draw a portrait. You know, the thing is about portrait drawing is it just takes time, and there are no shortcuts. But the one thing that I have found that has really helped me over the years is to have a step-by-step process. If I have a process that I go through, it just helps. It just helps because I don't have to think of like what's the next thing I want to do. So hopefully, as I walk you through each step, you could actually make some notes and know like, oh, I should do this next. I should do this next, and it will maybe give you a little bit of faster development as far as figuring out how to do this. So let's jump right into it. But before we do, let me kind of get rid of this and let's go through a basic idea of drawing the portrait. Okay, so we usually do this every week, but I think it is always worth repeating. So let's go with 2 ovals here. 2 ovals. And 2 spheres. And the first thing I want to determine is to find out where my brow line is. Here's my brow line right here. It goes right across the brow and the eyebrows. All right. So let's just say that this brow line was headed in this direction here, and we'll say that this brow line is heading in this direction. Okay, we'll create the center line. Here's the center line right there. And this can also be called the T of the face. And we don't have a reference. We're just making this up right now as we go along. I just want to show you the steps. If I had a reference, this is what I would be looking for, is the angle of the brow and the determining where the center line is. Next, I always want to find like the temples. Okay, temples are these little nodes that you could take your fingers and touch on either side of your brow. And if it's a 3/4 view, the one on the inside is going to be a little bit closer as opposed to the one on the outside. It's because this side of the smaller face, this side is more foreshortened. That means it's kind of like shorter distance. Right here, we're gonna like slice off the side of the head just like this here. Same thing over here. We're gonna do something like that. The head is generally flat when it looks straight upon. Look at this. See, if I have this skull here, look at that. Look how flat the sides are. But when I turn it to the side, you can see how round it is. Do you see that? Look how round that is. So this ends up being the flat side of the head. From the brow line, hey, Elaine, you just found us. Wonderful. We're just getting started. We're just kind of doing introductory here, okay? You haven't missed anything. from the brow line, up the top here to the bottom of the nose, use that distance, okay? And this ends up being, you could, in thirds. So it would be, this is 1/3 from the brow line to the head is another third, from the bottom of the nose to the chin, bottom of the chin is another third. So if I'm looking at this picture here, there is the bottom of the chin, and then the hairline might be way up there. All right, same thing. Let's see, bottom of the nose is going to be right there. So that's a third. So we double that, and then going up here to the hairline is the third. Okay, right down here, this is where your jawline's going to come around that side, and it's going to come around on that side as well. Same thing over here. This is going to circle around. Hey Magna, how are you doing? And then this is going to circle around on that side. This is, as you go through this, there's this idea that construction gives way to likeness. And if you really get this process down, you're going to find that it really makes the whole process of drawing heads a little bit easier. All right, we haven't done this too much, but let's get that. They call it the visor. This is the part of the eyes. And then your eyeline is going to be about there. And a mistake that beginners often make is they push down too hard. So learn to hold your pencil lightly before you're ready to commit your lines. Here's that little dot right there is the glabella area, and we want to keep our surface line so it follows the angle of that visor visor there. And then your eyes are going to sit right on top of this, your eyeballs. What dimensions, how big do you make the visor? Oh, that's a great question. Shirlene, I guess it. I'm sorry. I'm sure there is an actual, I guess it. But I can tell you this, that if you look at your picture closely, it will end at the bottom of the nose. And then of course, the top is the brow line, and then the center point it goes right through the eyes. So It depends on your model. A lot of times there isn't a general, some people are going to have a long face or a squish face. It could be the different nationalities will affect it, but you just got to be aware of it. So here your nose, you could almost think of it like a cylinder. Look, this is one reason why I like the visor is a good approach, because it lays these things in with some dimension. We'll take a look at that today to see how big that is. Okay, so check this out. So all of these lines, these are, let me change the color here for a second. I want to show you why the construction is so important. You see this line and this line and this line. All of these lines end up being parallel to each other. And this will keep your face, sometimes people draw their face and it gets twisted. And so once you establish your brow line, making sure that all of these remain parallel will help your faces from not becoming twisted. Okay, behind the nose, we get the barrel of the mouth. And this is going to have a curve to it. Look at that. It's going to have a curve. These are the pupils of your eyes. And they usually line up with the corners of your mouth. There's the corners of your mouth right there. So get your lips. Start with the center, that little V that's right here. The little V right there. And then connect the corners. Okay. Here's a front view. So there's your V. Okay. And then usually the lips will overlap slightly in the middle. This is all just a little exaggerated, but it helps you to see the basic construction, how this thing breaks down. And because this is on this barrel of the mouth, look, if you could think of yourself, if you think of the barrel as a sphere, there's a sphere, okay? And if you were to shine light right here at this spot, the sides would get in shadow, right? Right? That's why the corners of your mouth they're being pulled back. And that's why the corners oftentimes will be pulled back and there'll be a darker value than the front. Also, usually the top lip is in shadow because let me get the corners here. Because the lips on a side view are downward facing, where the bottom lip is upward facing. So light, a lot of times will hit the bottom, but the top part will remain dark. And then the last thing, let's talk about eyes. Let me give you a quick overview of eyes. You have the corner of your eye, right? Let's say this is the inside. This is going to be the tear duct here. If you think of this as 1, 2, 3, and then an S curve, that's a pretty good, I found over the years, that's a pretty good shape for the eyes that you can work with. So just think of that. I'll do it one more time here. Think of 1, 2, 3, and then the other side, and then it's going to be an S curve. This is the inside. So let's see here. And usually the corners of the nose will line up with those tear ducts. So you could go 1, 2, 3, slight S curve, 1, 2, 3, slight S curve. And let's go ahead and jump into our picture now. Just throwing in some quick tone here. All right, let's do this. This is all recorded, so you could always go back and rewind. It's always on YouTube, and it's not going anywhere. Okay, let's do something first before we jump into this, because, you know, part of a big aspect of drawing is seeing, learning to see what's right in front of you, because our brain ends up like pretending, we end up drawing things that aren't really there because we just don't slow down and really look. Okay, so the more you get familiar with a subject, the better you'll draw it. So when a lot of times I found in my early years, if I drew a portrait multiple times, it just kept getting better and better. Now, I wouldn't spend more than 10, 15 minutes on a portrait in order to get through those first couple rough drafts. But then, you know, when you get further along, I mean, like, then you could spend a little more time and get something a little more accurate. So let's do that together right now. Let's spend the next 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is to draw this as quick as possible. All right. So you have 5 minutes starting right now, and go. And I just want you to quickly look at the picture. Go 5 minutes. You're going to throw this away, or just we're going to have a new one here. And we'll do this together, okay? So we're already 20 seconds into it. I'm not going to really talk. I just want you to quickly draw this. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. All right. Just quickly sketching. Okay, you got about coming up on 3 minutes left. Try and get as much as you can. Okay, you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Go quick. Doesn't matter what it looks like. All right, 45 seconds left. 15 seconds. And time is up. All right, now we can turn the page on that. Here, I'll give you one quick view there. All right, I'm going to turn the page and let's start fresh now. Okay, we're going to go methodically, step by step through this. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with a sphere. Start off with a sphere. And get that angle. I was talking to someone last week. Get that angle as accurate as you can. Let's see here if I can help you out a little bit. All right, look at this. This is the angle. That's what you're shooting for. Okay, there's the T. There's the center of the face. Now check this out. This is interesting. This is the back of her head way over here. You see that? Somewhere in there. It might be a little bit closer. That's the back of her head. But now look at this. Here is one temple. There's the other temple. You see that? And so what you could do is like, look at this distance from here. That's almost halfway. You see that? So if I come here and this is the back of my head, about halfway is going to be right about there. Okay, now look at that. Her nose, the distance from the glabella to her nose, now that's supposed to, generally speaking, we make that a third, but in her case, she has a little bit of a longer nose. So let's just, I'm going to come down here and then okay, this is coming back now. There is her hairline. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to be right there maybe. And now look at this, the top of her ear, now we can't really see it. It's somewhere down over here. So this is going to be a slight angle, you see? So we can and then usually the bottom of the ear lines up with the cheek to the bottom of the nose. So look at that right there. Boom. All right, so we could get that measurement in as well. So that's going to be about here. We'll come into detail in just a bit. Side of her face, check this out. This is almost a straight line there. We'll carve it up a little bit, but then boom, look at that beautiful angle. Same thing over here. This is gonna come down here and then We're going to get that angle there, you see? Keep this light. Drop down for the corner of the jaw. And then we come right around like that. Drop down. Okay, I'm going to erase all those markings now. We'll move this, oops, we'll move it back. Now, Shirlene, you had asked about what determines the length of the visor. Well, we can actually see it now. We can actually put it in very lightly. We don't want it to mess up our picture, but look, it's right there, and then it comes down right to there. And it's going to be over here and come over here, just like that. But hers is very flat looking because of her nationality. So we could drop it in slightly. Just don't go crazy on me on that. Okay, let's go ahead and get her nose in place. So instead of using curves, I'm going to use angles, straight angles, and then I could come back and curve it more. And so I'm coming down like this. She has a very round nose. Now look at that ball of the mouth. Do you see it? Look at this ball of the mouth right there. Boom and boom. You see that? Let's put that in very lightly. And then I'm looking at the bottom of her nose to where her chin is. You see, we keep really looking at the bigger picture stuff before we start getting into all that detail. Okay, corner of the nose, or the wings of the nose, usually line up right with the tear duct. So I think we could do that there, and then this one's visible. It's going to be right about there. So here's the corner of the tear duct there, and then the outer edge. Look at that. Look at the difference. You see, it's higher. So I'm here. I'm going to probably come up just a little bit higher, just like that. And then the same thing's true on the other side. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Same thing on the other side here. 1, 2, 3. And her lower eyelids are almost straight. And then she has these shadows right underneath her lower lids. So let's get those in as well. All right, eyebrows, and I'm just kind of lightly putting them in for right now. And then you've got this great corner shadow right in here. Look at that. Don't be afraid of that. And it's also over here as well. How's the other side? Same thing. Look at that. Sometimes, like in the nose, I'm just gonna lightly erase some of the construction lines underneath, and it's happening in her nose here. Let me show you. There's a bit of a shadow underneath, and you can just drop that in just like that. Okay, let's get the side of her head here. So look at that. There's your visor for you. And then she's got these great cheeks. Look at that. Let's come in here like this, and see, this just follows that barrel of the mouth. And these cheeks are pulling in. Look at that. They're pulling in, right? Just like that. But then if you look closely, then her side right here, it actually comes back out. You see that? It gets easier as you get these construction lines in. Okay, so there's the V of her lips. Let's put the corner of so let's make sure we're accurate here. So there's the V of her lips. There's the corner of the mouth. Look how lower that is. And then there's this one as well, way out here. So let's see. There's a corner right there. And there's the other side, just like that. All right, let's get the V there and then connect those lips just like that. Now this little teeny overhang right there, it's pretty flat on her, so there's just a slight curve, and we could do that. Okay, now look closely. Look closely at this, at the lip over on this side. It doesn't go to the edge there. It you see it cuts in just a bit. Cuts in a little bit short on the other side as well. I may have made my lips a little too wide, but that's okay. Okay, let's come over here and get the outline of her hair. So this is where we've determined to be the hairline, right there. And look, that hair it's coming way, those bangs are coming almost over the center there. So we could put that in, and then we're just gonna walk ourselves along. It's gonna almost hit that eye, come back all the way to the ear. Let's get her neck in. There's neck is coming back here. Front of her neck. Look at this. It's right there. Look how far over it is. I could get rid of that line. All right. So it's going to be here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna squint because I want to block in her hair. I want to get the right size of her hair here. So what I'm doing is really kind of in one big view. I'm looking for this. I'm trying to envision that big shape. So let's see here if I can do that, and you could do it on your end. Trying to match that shape, and I'm just gonna come down here. This is a nice S curve. Then on this side, look at that. You could use the negative shape. Look at that. Let's see now. So there is that shadow of her hair here. Look at that. Goes straight in. I'm just gonna drop in that shadow. Okay, now I got all that down. So next thing I want to do is I'm just going to quickly drop in an even tone. And what I mean by that is I'm asking myself, is this dark or is this light? And if I answer that this is dark, then I'm going to make that tone or that area dark. I'm not even trying to figure out how dark it is. All I want to do is just get that dark or light. So once I've decided what is dark and what is light, then I can go back into my dark a second time and start to develop it or start adding a darker value on top. And I like to do that in almost like 3 stages. We're bringing this up very slowly. That's the whole point. Bringing it up in stages. All right, I think that's going to do it for today. So we took a look at quick construction, looking at the basics. Then we jumped over to our model here, and then we started to break it down step by step, trying to create a repetition. And applying what we know. And then layering. All right. I am so glad that you all tuned in. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you, Judith. And we will see you next Wednesday for another portrait class. We also have a live Monday afternoons class where we do landscape. So check that out as well. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for a great group of people to hang out with, you should join our Facebook group. Okay? Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you later. Now go make your day great. Bye-bye.